yeah, moving on to anything else you want to talk about there, or do you want to move on to the streamers?
No, mate, let's just move on from tight ends.
I froth streamers, but I'd never stream anyone myself. To those who don't know what a streamer is, I feel like I should have explained this last week. It's someone who that say, I don't know, you've got a buy in your running back slot and you need someone, or you don't like one of your running backs matchups, so you want to bring in someone who's got a low ownership percentage, who's got a favorable fixture, who has a high chance of scoring high just for 1 week, and then you ship them off next week. So that's what a streamer is, and our criteria is below 60% ownership on ESPN. So thought I'd just explain that quickly. But quarterback streamers, mate, always an interesting position to stream the quarterback slot. Who are you rocking with here?
Tua
Tagovailoa. Ownership's like 29% or something.
Yeah,
still.
Couldn't believe that when I saw it. And
I think half the
weekend
game's given up. Oh, who are the Dolphins playing? You carry on. I'll check.
But yeah, Tua looked amazing and it's someone easy. It's a decent fixture, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, balled out. Chargers, there you go. They've been pretty suspect against the pass recently. Yeah, balled out last week. Herbert v Tua. That'll be spicy.
That's the first time any of them have played each other, I think. I didn't think Herbert played Burrow.
Oh, no, they did. Oh, no,
really?
Tyrod Taylor played Burrow.
Oh, yeah, that was
round one.
First round, wasn't it? Yeah. That's a good memory.
Anyway, yeah, Tua's my streamer. I think he'll have a big game, and he's rostered on 29% of leagues, so go pick him up.
Yeah, I 100% agree. He's sitting on my bench at the moment, just hoping he sprouts and I can sell him off and improve my starting XI. I might even do that this week, to be honest. Yeah.
I'll take Tua off your hands, mate.
I won't even explain what XI is because we've got a lot of American viewers, but my streamers, it's a tough one. Tua is probably the best option, but I was looking mainly at just beast fixtures.
Danny Dimes.
Jared Goff is my number one. He's only in 46% of rosters, up against Seattle, who Josh Allen just scored 36 against. I know there's a big discrepancy between Allen and Goff, but Seattle have conceded the 4th most points in the competition since September. And if Seattle take the lead early, you'll expect the Rams to just throw everything like they did against Miami. I think he had 51 attempts or something like that against Miami. He just threw the house down, and he hasn't gone below 10 points all year. So although you don't really care about their floor, like the minimum score they're probably going to get if you're streaming someone, but that is also good to know. He's not going to whip out a 4. He's probably like his lowest would probably be like a 12 or a 14, but his upside's huge. He has 3 20+ scores as well on the season, and 2 rushing TDs. So all potentials this weekend. Big chance to get above 20 here for Goffney. And yeah, I like him as a streamer. My other guy is Drew Lock as well. Coming off the back of 2 decent fantasy scores, 19 and 29 against the Raiders. So you'd imagine the game script will probably suit them again. You'd think the Raiders will take a lead in that one early. And the Raiders have the 7th worst pass defense. Good thing about Locke, he has 2 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. And last week he threw it 52% and almost got 30 points. So you can't imagine it staying at 52% for too long, although he does have a seriously low career completion rate. But yeah, Drew Lock's probably a lot riskier, but yeah, Goff's probably my main shout there, to be honest. But yeah, Tua's a good one as well.
Yeah, Goff will go big this week, and so will Kupp and Woods.
Yeah, running back I found really hard this week because none of the main options had good fixtures. So I found it tough. But who are you going here?
There is one bloke. David Johnson is 90% going to be out with a concussion this week. So Duke Johnson is in. They're playing the Browns, who are decent against the run, but the Texans head coach has said that Duke Johnson's going to take the big role, the heavy workload. So he'll be pretty safe for 10 points, and he might get into the end zone for you. So chuck him in your lineup if you need a running back.
Yeah, David Johnson was borderline in my buy low actually because he scored 1.6. But yeah, I
Yeah, that's a good
100%
shout,
agree with
actually.
that. Yeah, we don't know too many injuries yet. There's a lot of the running backs have come back in the last fortnight, but yeah, keep an eye out for the injuries. Same in Seattle. If Carson and Hyde don't play, well then Homer or Dallas are both options. And yeah, just keep an ear out for those
And
guys.
Davis is owned in like 70% of leagues, so we didn't include him. But if he's on your waiver wire, snag him.
Yeah, if McCaffrey doesn't get up,
Yeah.
definitely get Mike Davis in. My running back streamer, I picked him up this week in the waivers. He's not an inspiring choice at all, but Aaron Jones is back, but I've gone with Jamal Williams. If you look at his stats before Jones's injury, he was actually still doing pretty decent. He had a game where he scored like 20, I think, because he's really involved in the passing game. In that match I was talking about, he had 8 targets. So he had 5 red zone attempts in his last 3 matches when Aaron Jones has played. That's rushing attempts. So although Jones scores most of the rushing touchdowns, Jamal Williams does get his cracks at it. And in this one, you expect them against the Jags to get up early and run the house down. If they're up by 20 points by halftime, who knows? They could sit Jones and Jamal could come in and take the mick, especially in the last quarter. Yeah, the Jaguars have conceded the most points in the competition since September. So I think all the Packers players are pretty interesting streaming options this week. For those that aren't owned in a lot of leagues. So Jamal Williams, it's a low floor option because he just might only get 3 catches, no rushing it carries, but he most usually he gets around 10 touches when Jones doesn't play. So and I'd be banking on Jones getting sat by like 3/4 time.
Yeah,
So
there's a high chance that occurs,
yeah,
to be fair.
I don't think 3/4 time is a saying in NFL, but I've just brought it in there. Any other running backs you want to mention?
No, just Duke Johnson for me.
Yeah, spicy option. Before we get into the wide receivers, I'll just ask you again, please get around the potty. Feel free to subscribe and like and all that good stuff. And feel free to comment your start and sit dilemmas or any trade negotiations. We had a couple last week and really enjoyed it. So get around that. All right, wide receiver streaming. Who are you going with here?
Yeah, so this is if you're, as normal, pretty desperate for a receiver, if you've got a couple buys or injuries. But Curtis Samuel, he's owned in less than 60% of leagues, and he's been kind of balling out recently. They're giving him like all these trick play carries and like all these weird plays, but he's producing quite well. So yeah, I think he's projected like 13 points on ESPN Fantasy, which is always promising. So yeah, I'd stream him if you need someone.
Yeah, I was going to pick him up this week, actually. He was at about 4 guys in contention for the waivers, but I went with someone else. Can't remember who I went with. But yeah, definitely a decent option. I think he's had 2 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 games or something like that. So he is definitely a spicy pick. They do have the Bucks though, but
That's
he's
true.
not really a running back, so it's not like yards per carry is going to affect him, and he's more in there for touchdown potential. So I rate that pick up. My main streamer is Tim Patrick of the Denver Broncos. He has had 7+ targets in 3 of his last 4. They're up against the Raiders, who are pretty bad against the pass, as I said, for Drew Lock. Lock's completion rate makes him a tough option because even if he gets 8 targets, he's probably only going to get 4 catches. But the amount of targets he sees, especially also in the red zone, he's had 6 red zone targets, and actually 5 of those 6 have been completed. So they seem to now dial it in the red zone. So for me, Tim Patrick's a decent option against the Raiders. Same probably goes for all the Denver wideouts. They're all pretty spicy, even KJ Hamler. And then a risky one. This is one to keep an eye out. Alan Lazard. He's most likely going to play this week. He's still on IR, but it's most likely going to play. He almost played last week. And as I said before with Jamal Williams, they've got the Jags. And Lazard is someone I'm very interested in, not even just as a streamer, but as a genuine pickup for the bench. My only worry is he might have lower snaps because it's his first game back, but easily the best wide receiver in terms of genuine ability out of the wide receivers below 60% rostered. And yeah, saw 4 red zone targets out of the first 3 matches, and they're up against the Jags, so you think there's going to be a lot of touchdowns to go around. So I think Allen Lazard is a lot riskier, but also an interesting pickup. And you could probably argue if Lazard's not back, then MVS, Marquez, Valdez-Scantling becomes a streaming option too.
Yep.
Tight ends, who are you going with here?
Dallas Goedert again. He's actually only owned in like 46% of leagues, which is how weird is that? But he's owned in our league, unfortunately.
It's got to be because he's a myth. It's got to be because no one knows who he is.
And people would have dropped him when he went on IR.
Yeah.
And just
the IR symbol is a kiss of death.
Yeah. But if he's available in your league, get him ASAP. And but they're playing New York Giants this week. I mean, they concede a decent amount of points to tight ends. They mainly lock down receivers. So I could see him having a big game, to be honest. He was the easy choice for me.
Yeah, very fair. I went with some more rogue options. Robert Tonyan, he doesn't see too many targets, but as I keep saying about the Green Bay Packers up against the Jags, and Tonyan, as we saw in that week where he caught 3 touchdowns, he's a ever-present touchdown threat. And then apart from him, Logan Thomas is an interesting option against the average Lions defense. In his last 2 games, I think he's had over 12 points, and he's had 7 targets in the red zone this season, and he's had 3 10-plus scores, so solid chance he goes big. And Gerald Everett is also someone I'm interested in against Seattle. I think he had 9 targets this past week, so
really,
he could be a streaming option. He's kind of overtaken Higbee in the Rams offense. All right, moving.
It's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.